And welcome to Black Bear Atheist. Today I'm not doing a reaction on a video, I'm just giving my thoughts on Islam because I'm about to start reading the entire New Testament again. I don't know, I feel like I need to read the Bible again for some reason. So I'm gonna start that today. So a person have been in my comments, and I mentioned this in the videos that I already made about Islam, but I haven't uploaded yet. It's gonna take a while. They're quite long. A person in my comments have been commenting and saying do a video on Islam. When are you going to do it? I attempt to do some on, I believe the channel's name is Eternity something or Aiming for Eternity. I don't know. I tried to do a video on them and I was like, this is just it's terrible. It's quite hard to find a good Muslim apologetic video. Like they're way behind in comparison to Christians. Which is explained through, when the religion was found, how long it really took Christianity to took up an empire. They did it in different ways. They actually have no separation from state and government. That's something Christianity have always argued over, the separation of the Pope and the King. So there's power struggle over there. But in Islam, it's sometimes it's the same people, and most of the time, these people are close to each other. So there's no separation of state and church, no mosque in this aspect. So because of that, if you go against the religion, you're dying. There's some people who actually believe that's okay. They're like Ali Dawa, I believe that's his name. If I'm not pronouncing that right, I genuinely don't care. So Ali Dawa is saying is proud of people killing apostates, which are people who love their religion. These are the things that are popular in I'm not sure like during those days. These are the things they found that it was okay. And when you have church and state together, they could actually pass these laws and less people are going to talk against the religion. Less people are gonna there's no need to defend it because everyone under you, they're not gonna leave to begin with. There's no need to create apologetics just to lie to people when everybody is already in the delusion. So you see them being far behind. But when you have the diffusion to Europe countries like Spain, when they took over that, I'm not sure when, they took over Spain and most of it at least. In the Crusades, that was when they took it back. So you have that, and you have the influence of Spain, and you have the influence in Europe in general when they took over Constantine. So you have an influence of Muslims and actually more Muslims coming to Europe. And you have UK today, where there's actually quite a bit of Muslims. In European countries in general, there's quite a bit of Muslims. Now they have to defend and keep the people that they have in their delusion. So we have some actual aspect of Islam apologetics coming out, and they're terrible. I'm not saying Christians apologetics are good, no, but they're just worst. Like they be answering questions in the most stupid ass way. You could see this in argument in debate, like Alex O'Connor versus like these Muslims. I forgot the name of the guy that was doing the debate. It was like almost 2 hours long. You could see this in those examples, how terrible they are. They're basically just doing the same thing as Christians, denying, looking over something, calling something okay. I mean, it, it's insane. But today we're gonna just look at the fact that we're gonna look. I guess I'm gonna give my opinion on why I haven't talked about it thus far. Um, I grew up in Nigeria. If you know anything about Nigeria, there's like a 50% between Christians and Muslims. The traditional religion are a mix of both. Even with the stats, it would say it's like less than 1%, I believe, or just around those numbers. But it's intermixed. You can't necessarily say, well, this is the percentage of actual traditionalists, people who practice rituals and traditional religion of Nigeria and the people around there, which is also quite a lot. A place is like a soup of different cultures, different religion. It's Nigeria. So you can't necessarily pinpoint how many are this, how many are that. I know there's some Christians who are influenced by traditionalist religion. They mix it into each other, and it turns to literally basically another religion. Anyways, so we have that. So I wasn't necessarily as a kid, even though my church believed that Islam was technically, it was a little bit divided, but most people believe Islam was a religion of false faith. I was more divided to between like my friends who were Muslims, thinking they'll, going to hell. So I guess, yeah, once I heard that Allah is the same as God, like it's just a translation issue, or not a translation issue. A way of Allah in Arab is God. When I heard that, I was like, well, they're most likely worshiping the same God. And I don't really talk about it. Like I skim over it. When I hear Islam is a bad religion, I usually go, well, that's because they're behind. But it's not necessarily, I guess I ignore it in a sense. That's for my bias. And for that, I apologize. Now we're gonna do a little bit of focus. I'm not gonna be a posted prophet. I mean, he's just profound in this, and he does a bunch of videos on this. On Islam, really, you know, hurt people. Not in a sense, it hurt people. It like takes away people's freedom, and takes control over literally everything. Now, growing up in Nigeria, I mean, if you ever heard of this terrorist group Boko Haram, they're quite popular in Nigeria, like throwing bombs, terrorizing literally everybody. This was a fear in church where we don't know whether we're gonna get bombed or not. We're far away from the real drama, but you never know. It's like anywhere you see an influence of Muslims, and we're not hating on Muslims. We actually consider them to be good people, just in a different religion. Our Christians say the blah 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 story. It's just we understand that increase in their population and increase in probably terrorism, which in the north there's an increase and a more influence of that. That was which I've also have like few people experience such terrorism. So I have that. I guess that's a backup fear of the religion itself, if you can call it that. I mean, United States, what are they gonna do? Anyways, so I guess that also affect how I think about the religion. I couldn't find a good video. I have a biased view of the religion. I don't like it, but I don't also talk about it. If you get what I mean. It's like a pass, not a pass. It's complicated, but no more. So I know a few things about how the religion did start up. It's through history. I'm a fan of history. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy, but I actually listen in history class, so I do catch things where most students would just skim over. Um, Islam is quite fascinating as a religion. The start of the religion is different from Christianity, which took a little time to start off. We have Muhammad doing his, revelation from God, and then a few years later, he actually, by the government system or the people that rule around those time, did not want him to keep talking about his monotheistic God, so they basically like try to kill him, basically like Jesus. You see a similarity in this too, because the both like in a cartoon shit. So you see that kind of influence of Islam, and then Muhammad ran away and went to Medina, where he gained some military power, and then he came back to get Mecca. I believe that was like 630, and then he died 2 years later, not leaving a hair. You see this influence, and then boom, Islam just boom, literally boom, boom. I don't think it even took them a century to take over the entire like Mediterranean area or to Egypt, almost up to Europe actually. And then they took over Turkey, Turkey, and all that around those space. I don't know how to describe the geographic area, but you get the idea. And then from there, we have the influence of, I don't know, Islam. So I've explained why they're probably behind in apologetics, which is also explain the time difference between the Christianity and Islam when they started. Also explains how and why they also have, like, I don't know, problems right now, which many people are not given freedom that they deserve. Women are oppressed, and people believe this is okay because religious freedom. I mean, it's bullshit. Now, Wikipedia is not the best source of news or really, I don't know, anything, but it's a good place to get started about research. So you could see the general things and you can go to the links and then dig deeper. So, the capital offense, according to this, based on this post, I'm putting it on the screen, is apostasy, which is like denying Islam, I guess. Treason, I guess that's quite to an extent reasonable. Homosexuality, like this is a capital offense, which they will cut off your head. Not like they will shock you to death or the American classic way. They will cut off your head. These are barbaric things that they will do. Espionage, murder, rape. I did it was like 2 months ago now or a month ago, over a month ago. I did a video with I forgot his name. Articulate Apologetic. We did a side note of, he said everyone that rapes should be like, I think put to death is what he says. That's, if I'm not forgetting. You can go watch that 2 hours of back to forth conversation, which I believe it was a conversation, not a debate. I don't like debate. Um, which he said rapists should be like, put to death, which I don't think that makes any sense. Rapists and murderers should not be put to death because they would just be stupid. They're not the same thing. As much as people can be like, oh my god, rape is bad, it's not the same thing as someone murdering someone. It's not the same thing as just one person murdering one another person, just one murder. It's not the same thing. It shouldn't have the same punishment. Different actions should have different results, not the same one when they're literally not the same thing. Or it's not as bad. It makes sense. Anyways, terrorism, okay. I mean, the government itself is terrorism, so you might as well cut off your own heads. Drug smuggling, armed robbery, blasphemy. Blasphemy against God will get you killed. Blasphemy against Allah will get you killed. Oh my God. Bluggery, if aggravated circumstance includes, oh my jeez. Adultery or married adulterers can be sentenced to stoning. Are we all reading the stoning? Sorcery or witchcraft. These are laws that actually are put on a like a national law. And we see in fairy tale in a national law. This is what I mean by separation of state and religion. Because they don't have this, a fucking idiot that just have, bunch knows nothing about anything, making claims upon claims with no evidence can directly affect what is being passed. They can directly affect the laws. This is not okay. This doesn't look like a religion of peace to me. A bunch of people taking up arms, taking up weapons to try to influence literally everywhere to promote their bullshit and then say it's a religion of peace. I'm okay with people, believing whatever they want to believe until they start to hurt others. That's why I'm talking about Christianity. That's why I'm talking about Islam right now. It's okay to believe whatever you want to believe, whatever fairy tale you want to be dreaming of. But when it comes to hurting others, it's just taking it too far. And you cannot make sense with these people. It's apparently impossible to even sit them down and reason with them. They believe what they believe and they believe blindly. Islam is like if you get the most extreme of Christians, there's still nothing compared to the most extreme of Islam. It's like different kind of craziness. And I have some Muslim friends, nothing against them. But when you have a religion like this that promotes this kind of bullshit, you're gonna get people that are on the extreme end to be fucking insane. It's what you see in Christianity, but it's not as bad as Islam. Or maybe it was as bad as Islam at some point in history, but currently it's not as bad as Islam. And that's my view. I'm done ranting. If you got to the end, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and have a lovely day.